Welcome to my Primary Languages CPD series, Part 3, The Languages Taught in Key Stage 2. My name is Claire Seckham and I'm a languages teacher and independent consultant. You can read more about what I have to say about primary languages on my blog, and you can see the URL here. And any resources that I show you, you can find on my website, which is called Lightbulb Languages. The big question for this part is, which language or languages do we have to teach in Key Stage 2? The national curriculum says that teaching may be of any modern or ancient foreign language, but this was not originally going to be the case. In July 2012, the Department for Education launched a consultation on making foreign languages a compulsory subject at Key Stage 2, and proposed that primary schools should have the freedom to choose to teach one or more of a specified list of languages. This list comprised 5 modern languages and 2 ancient languages: French, Spanish, German, Italian, Mandarin, Latin, and Ancient Greek. The DFE's rationale was the following. By requiring primary schools to teach one or more of these languages, this proposal would prevent any potential proliferation of very low take-up languages and would focus schools' attention on a sample of important languages that, each in their own right, would give a good grounding for further languages study. The proposed choice broadly reflects the languages that primary schools already teach at Key Stage 2, thereby capitalising on these strengths, but does not restrict schools to European and modern languages. Instead, it opens up the possibility of Mandarin, for instance, which is widely considered to be important for the future of our country, and classical languages, which can give a good grounding in the grammar and other features of a number of modern languages. This issue was widely debated by teachers and in Parliament. For example, Lisa Nandy, who was Shadow Children and Young Families Minister at the time, asked about the inclusion of community languages such as Hindu, Urdu, and Arabic. Among the responses to the consultation about the choice of language, only a third of respondents agreed that children should be taught one of the list of 7. The majority of respondents, therefore, were not in favour of teaching one of a set list of languages. They argued that we cannot predict what will be the important languages of the future, and that there are other culturally significant languages that should also be taught. The government decided to proceed with the order making languages a compulsory subject in Key Stage 2, but decided, on balance, and despite the responses to the consultation, to keep the list of 5 modern and 2 ancient languages. Their rationale was, the proposed list provides a sound basis for primary and secondary schools to work together in clusters on languages provision and effective transition between the key stages. The list is therefore an important building block for introducing languages successfully in the primary phase. In addition, they said, we are working with a range of stakeholders including publishers, educational suppliers, teaching schools and subject associations to make sure that high-quality support and adaptable models of Key Stage 2 foreign language teaching become available for schools. These comments make reference to the issue of transition from Key Stage 2 to Key Stage 3, which I discussed in Part 2 of this series and which we will hear more about shortly. The draft national curriculum was then opened to consultation with the opening sentence of the subject content for Key Stage 2 languages saying, teaching should focus on enabling pupils to make substantial progress in one of the following languages: French, German, Italian, Mandarin, Spanish, Latin, or Ancient Greek. The government's response to this consultation was published in July 2013, along with the final national curriculum documentation. It said, the introduction of languages at Key Stage 2 was widely welcomed, although many respondents argued for changes to the associated list of prescribed languages. These proposed changes included support for the inclusion of other languages such as Hebrew and Japanese, questions about the relevance of ancient languages, and the suggestion that schools should have a free choice of which language to teach. The response to the consultation also revealed one particularly surprising and very welcome statement. We have listened closely to the views of respondents to the consultation, particularly subject experts and teachers, and have made a range of detailed changes to the draft programmes of study in response. In particular, we have removed the proposed list of languages from the Key Stage 2 programme of study for foreign languages to give schools a free choice over which modern or ancient language pupils should study over the 4 years of Key Stage 2. Therefore, we can, as the programme of study currently says, teach any modern or ancient foreign language. So, which languages are most commonly taught in English primary schools? Here are the data from the 2025 Language Trends Report published by the British Council. The sample was admittedly small, only 502 responses from more than 16,000 English primary schools, but the information presented here is a good reflection of the national picture. We can see that French is still by far the most popular language, followed by Spanish. All other languages have very small percentages. The 2016 Language Trends Report gives figures of just over 75% for French and 22% for Spanish, so there hasn't been a great deal of change over the last 10 years. The list of 7 languages, French, Spanish, German, Italian, Mandarin, Latin and Ancient Greek, was done away with, and schools can choose which language to teach. But realistically, the vast majority of schools stick to one of the languages from the list of 7. Recent external exam results have shown that Spanish overtook French at A-level in 2019 and then at GCSE in 2025. Does this mean that eventually Spanish will overtake French in Key Stage 2? Spanish only rose from 22% to just over 25% in 10 years, so it doesn't look likely at the moment. French still dominates at Key Stage 2 due to a number of factors. It's historically the language that is taught in English schools. It's the language that the majority of teachers will have learned at school, and it's the best resourced. Should more primary schools be exploring a change to Spanish because of the changes taking place at GCSE and A-level? So in Key Stage 2, we can teach any modern or ancient foreign language, and this has affected the name of the subject. This footnote on page 7 of the National Curriculum document says that in Key Stage 2, the subject title is Foreign Languages. We have to drop the modern because of the inclusion of ancient languages. It remains Modern Foreign Languages, or MFL, in Key Stage 3. Therefore, when we're talking about the subject in Key Stage 2, the official title is Foreign Languages, but it's usually referred to just as languages, without the potentially negative connotations of the word foreign, or primary languages. After the part about any modern or ancient foreign language, the programme of study says that the teaching that children receive should focus on enabling them to make substantial progress in one language. What substantial progress actually is not made absolutely clear by the programme of study. It's for this reason that we welcome the decision taken in the Curriculum and Assessment Review in 2025 to create a minimum core content for Key Stage 2 languages. This revised curriculum will be first taught in 2028. Primary schools will have a much better idea of what the curriculum content should entail and what the substantial progress will look like, and secondary schools will hopefully know more about their new Year 7s that they will be receiving. Another big question is, which language should we choose for our school? Each school has its own reasons for the foreign language that it chooses to teach. However, there are some things to take into consideration when choosing a language. First of all, is it sustainable? If you have a specialist teacher or one member of staff who does the teaching and they leave, will the teaching be able to continue? Is it easy to resource? Can you find a scheme of work and plenty of quality resources that will suit the teachers who will be teaching the language? Is there plenty of good quality language-specific CPD that your teachers will be able to access if necessary? Will your Year 6 pupils be able to continue with the same language when they go to their secondary school? As discussed in Part 2 of this series, transition to Key Stage 3 and the Key Stage 2 to Key Stage 3 language learning continuum is very important, so we need to do what we can to facilitate this. Does your school have a link with one of the countries where the language is spoken and which would enhance and encourage language learning? It could be a local town twinning link or a school link using a more formal educational program. And finally, will you have the support of the school community and other stakeholders with your choice of language? Is it a language that will enthuse and motivate your pupils? Transition is at the centre of the second of the primary languages specific recommendations of the 2025 Curriculum and Assessment Review. It says, "We recommend that local authorities, multi-academy trusts and schools should explore the potential benefits of a coordinated approach in their local areas to the main language taught from Key Stage 2 through to Key Stage 4, taking account of their local context and priorities. The government should look to encourage this activity where appropriate." The choice of language for your school may, in future, be taken out of your hands, therefore, although I fear with the system that we have of local authority maintained schools and many separate multi-academy trusts, that this system may be too disjointed to support this. We will delve further into primary languages in the next videos.